Now, as you can see, we are going to be painting this. Now, just the sections that I've messed up, and then my own homemade bracket here, the hoe made it. Ha! Which is, look how sturdy this is. Like, and then look how sturdy this one is. Yeah, so this is a factory Subaru. This is mine. Yeah, I think one of my welds didn't hold on this too. I'm not sure. Kind of feels like that top one didn't hold. Anyways, they're just flimsy brackets, and then they have holes here that the felt shield, whatever you call that. We're not done masking yet. I need to get plastic and drape over this whole section of the car. I'm going to be painting this with just white sealer. Nothing else. That's just a white like primer with a hardener in it. So it's kind of like an epoxy paint. So I need to get, which I don't have any right now. Well, I did, and I don't know where it went. Scotch-Brite. So I'm going to go to the hardware store, get some Scotch-Brite. I'm going to scuff all this stuff up, which I'm probably not going to spray out here in these areas. I'll get really close, but that needs to be bare because we're going to be welding the core support in. The same with down there, so I'm not hitting that. I'm going to hit that with the weld-through primer, and I think we can hit those with the spot weld gun, so we'll spot weld that in place. But yeah, and it's still, I'm going to have to mess with that end piece just a little bit more. But for the most part, we got this all situated from what I can see. Might be off, but we're going to see how that works out. So yeah, then I have new hood hinges. I need to hit this with Scotch-Brite. I'm just going to hit it the way it was. I did kind of straighten out the bent section there in the center. Not too shabby. You know, not perfect, but pretty decent for what it was. And I also need to hammer this some too, because this is the one that got bent in the mail. And I kind of worked on it, but that needs, right here where that angle's up, I think it needs to be more flat. You know, if you're looking at this one, where that bolt hole is, it's kind of humped down where this one kind of goes up. So I'm going to work on that a little bit and then get all this stuff cleaned up, and we're going to hit it with sealer before I leave because we're going to Pizza Hut. Yes! We are going to work with the door open today because it's like freaking 70 out, which is nice. Went and got me some Scotch-Brite, cut them up into little handheld pieces. Now we're going to scuff this, the hinges, the core support. I know I probably already went over this. And then I think I'm going to raise the lift up so I can hang the hinges and the core support. And I'm just going to paint with the door open. I'm going to drop the tarps, obviously, but I'm just going to paint with the door open so it ventilates in here. And we're going to get this done. You don't have to be real critical with sealer. And it's not like it's the outside of the car. You just want to get it covered so that rust doesn't set in. That's my whole purpose of doing this. So I'm going to get the scuffing, and then we'll get ready for spraying. Alright, so sanded them up. I wiped them down. Yeah, I didn't take the stickers off of them. They're not coming off that easy. I'm not really worried about it. That's where they bolt down at. You're not going to see them. Clean this all up. Clean this all up. I kind of sprayed it down with some acetone too, which is still drying. But I'm going to go grab my gun. I'm going to go ahead and spray this stuff just to get a nice coat on. Now, I found my heart. I have white sealer. Just so happen to have some, and I have just enough medium reducer and hardener. So we should be good. I only need to load the gun once because it's not very much to spray. Definitely need to make sure we get good coverage on this bare metal mount. I did spray the underside with self-etching primer, which I should probably do to the top side. Let me do that real quick. Alright, so there we go. Thin coat. Kind of did those welds as well. Should probably do these ones. This is something that's going to grab the metal and not come loose. Self-etching primer is nice. Don't do any areas that you're going to weld, because you're just going to be grinding it back off. And if you left pieces of rags behind, make sure you get them off of there. But just hitting the bare metal right now, and nothing crazy, just get some nice good coverage there. Just a little extra protection. We love protection. Keep that willy wrapped. Alright, now I'm going to go get cleaned up because I'm going to Pizza Hut. Scores! I'm going to let this dry while I go. When I come back, maybe we'll start throwing it together. I'm going to have to grind some off because I decided just to paint everything instead of avoid the places that shouldn't have had it. So, you know, places like the end of this. Now, I didn't get those down there, so we'll be able to weld there. And then there's another spot right here it needs to be welded in. But before I weld them in, I kind of want to put the core support... or I want to put the condenser and maybe the radiator in, because I want to make sure, I want to bolt them up and see how they fit. I also know that I'm still going to have to bend this, so I'm going to mess the paint up, but it'll be alright. I just didn't feel like doing it beforehand. There's going to be touch-up areas that need done, but all that gets covered by plastic covers and felt covers. And oh, with the door open, fumes get out pretty quick. Anyways, all of this stuff, even the hood hinges and stuff, are going to be covered. I just wanted to put a layer of sealer on there just so they don't rust. And white is what you're going to lay down for a base sealer. Before I paint this whole thing, we're going to lay down a white sealer so you have a good base. But yeah, it's obviously not. It's not matching because that's got the off-white color to it, and then bright. I'm not really concerned with that. It'll still look better than having black parts on there and stuff. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Alright, so I went ahead, fit the core support in here, kind of. What I need to do, well, what I wanted to do here was I put all the bolts in it that need to go in it. They're not tight, they're loose. That way there's play in it. I put the AC condenser in there because it bolts right here and right here, which are two separate pieces at the moment. So I wanted to make sure that they lined up good. Now I have pretty much everything in line. This needs to go back a little bit so it can drop down. which brings them down about where they're supposed to be. Maybe over a little bit, but it's all pretty close. And these are floppy, so you can just bend them how you need to, which also brings this, which is what we're going to weld first. There's a hole here, and what I'm going to do is line it up first, and then we're going to use my spot welder right there, weld this in, and then we can work on the other pieces after that. But we want to do this first. And yeah, this, since this has hardener in it, it dried. I got kind of a kink in it now because I got rid of that bow. But if everything fits up, I'm not worried about that. So let's get the spot welding this. Don't need no welding helmet or nothing, but I'm gonna have to get the welder out for the rest of those. But let's get this first. So the sealer I used earlier, I got in my can, and some of it was still good. So I got a little brush out and brushed it over all my welds. So it has sealer over top of it. That's going to help prevent rust. So now we got her at a good point here. It's looking good. Ought to be able to start throwing parts back on this thing. And I know I got one hole. This is off the other car. We got one hole in this core support that's stripped. So I'm going to have to tap this hole right here. All right. This should be fun. So I put an ounce of PAG oil in the condenser because I'm pretty sure it was dry. Also put some dye in it. I have dye there, so I put a little bit of that in. If you look it up, there's figures on how much should be in your compressor, how much should be in the evaporator, how much should be in the condenser, and whatnot. I'm not an expert on air conditioning, so I went with what it said. Typically, it's an ounce, so that's what I did. Put an ounce in the condenser. We're almost to a stopping point for this video. We're going to see what we get into here. I have some aftermarket parts that I want to start installing on this, but I want to save that for the next video. But you know what? I feel pretty accomplished for this episode. That looks nice now. Yeah, it doesn't match perfectly, but it doesn't look too out of place. All my sealant's covered up. It looks pretty good. All my welds are covered with paint. The condenser is in. I put PAG oil on the seals, put the lines in, it's in. The radiator's just sitting in there. We don't have the fans in it yet, which I have, and I don't know why I didn't put them on yet. But I ordered 2 new lines for that. So let me see if they come in before I finish this video, and I might go ahead and slap them in with the fans, and then maybe we can put some coolant in this thing and get it running in this video here at the end. So stay tuned, because it's going to be later this week, which is going to be a minute for you. But we'll see what happens. And I was not impressed with Pizza Hut, just so you know. I don't know. I've had pizza from other places, and it's been pretty dang good. And it just wasn't, I don't know. It was just mediocre. It was okay. We had meat lovers. All right, I'll see y'all later in the week. Oh yeah, I just remembered this before I go back in for the night. Now, a lot of people have been hitting me up about my Z. Nobody's really serious. I had this one guy, and at first I took it as a joke, but then I realized that he was serious. Let me get the messages up so I can refresh my memory. All right, so they start off with, Todd, is it still available? That's normal. Yes, it's still available. So then I get this message and I read it, and I had to read it several times. Would you give this car away to a subscriber for content? When I saw the car, I said, no way. Laugh out loud. I'm a videographer and a photographer, and I'm looking for my first car. I do a lot of car content, and I have a pretty good following. Watching you guys rebuild it, what made me want one? I was just wondering, though. Listen, like, okay, I have it listed for $16,000. I'm not a big channel, okay? I'm not Street Speed, or It's Just a 6, or a channel that has the ability to give away a car, let alone one that's worth like 16 grand. No, if I was going to give a car away, I would have said I was giving the car away. I have it listed for sale. I cannot afford to give that car away. I don't understand where these people get these ideas. I don't know. Like, I had to work for everything I got. I never just went and said, "Hey, can I have your car?" I don't know. That's just that's different to me, I guess. I don't understand. Alright, so if you guys remember right, my red gauge doesn't read right. So right at about 0 is about 30 mercury, whatever, and then the blue one is reading right. I've had this on for about 45 minutes to an hour. I am now going to shut these off to lock in the flavor. And I gotta run to Huntington to grab coolant for this thing, and I get back. I ordered new radiator hoses. They're not going to be here this month. So what I'm going to do in the meantime, this is the one off the last Subaru I did, and it's not near as bad as mine. And you take a look at that. It's not that bad. So until mine get here, I'm going to roll with this one, and maybe we'll put it on the other direction so there's no chance of it. Well, it's not going to rub the pulley anyway because I have that bracket there. There, the new brace, whatever. But I'm going to, when I get back, we're going to throw the fans in this, throw some coolant in this. We're going to let it heat cycle, and I am also going to charge the AC. Given that this thing still has vacuum whenever I get back, which is in about 45-minute drive, you know, down and back. So, then we'll get that done, and then I'm going to mock fit, which is still going to be off on this side, but I'm going to mock fit the front end. It's just that I need to get that hinge off, and I need to get the new hinge on. We'll worry about that when I get back. Also, it's pretty sad, but my most fuel economy car here is the Z. So this is what I'm going to be driving. Yeah, hasn't sold yet. So, go clean the snow off of this thing. It just snowed today. Great. For you ladies at home wondering how old I am, just so happens that today is my birthday, and I'm 29 again. Holy crap! So it's like I'm giving you guys a gift for my birthday. Today is March 9th. Just give me a perspective, because some of you don't know what kind of time frame I'm on when my videos actually get released and stuff. So there's a little bit of information for you. Alright, so we got coolant. We got a new bottle of R134A. I have another one somewhere over there. and then like a half a bottle. I got the new used radiator hose on. Listen, guys, I'm going to start rushing through this thing because there's a lot of things that I wanted to do, and now, like, currently and today, fuel prices are through the roof. So I'm driving the Z to try to save a buck, and yeah, I need to get this thing on the road because this is going to be more cost effective for me, especially when premium fuel is $5.15 a gallon. I know some of you probably pay more than that, I know, but when you're not used to paying that, it sucks. And I know there's a lot worse things going on in the world right now. I don't want to get into it, but I mean, I can be thankful for the things that I have. I'll just say that. So, as long you can fill it up through the gauges, yeah, I would do that, but I have the wrong fitting on the end, and I've never been able to successfully find the right end for it. So, I'm just going to fill this thing up. First, we got to fill it up with coolant. Ah, shoot. Before I fill it up with coolant, I went about this all wrong. I'm going to put the radiator fans in first, and yes, this radiator has a cooler built into it, and we're not going to be utilizing it because there's no lines there. Given down the road, I want to put a transmission cooler on it. It's on there. I just got to run hoses to it. I'm not doing that right now. So, let's get the fans, throw them in here, and I'm going to take this hose off. It'll make it easier on me and that bracket. And then we'll get coolant in it. Yeah, I forgot to show you guys this little nugget of goodness. These are $30 eBay tips. And all I did, they're an angled tip. They come down and then come out. I welded them to my system that does have nuts. And they just aren't that sufficient. So I've got weld across the bottom, weld across the top, and then weld inside there. It's welded together. This is solid and part of the exhaust now. But placement, perfect. It's the little subtle changes. That's what I like. I like it subtle. Alright, so I have a couple minutes this evening to try to piece this thing together in the front end to see how everything fits. I don't think it's going to fit right, but we'll see. Just because I don't know. I'm skeptical. But I have a couple minutes because I need to get this thing mocked together and then move forward so I can get the truck out so I can get my dolly out to pick up the new project in the next episode. Can't stop, won't stop! So the next project, I paid $24.48 for it. It is an economy car, but it's It's a nice one. I actually almost bought one for myself before I bought the Veloster. I looked at it and I looked at the Veloster at the same time. Before I bought that, I don't have that now. But that's just a little hint for you. So the next episode, you're going to get to see what I'm going to pick up. And, oh, I'm dreading the gas bill my truck's going to drink on the way there and back. Because I also have to go to the junkyard, and then I have to go get paint, and I have to go to Harbor Freight because, oh, okay. But, ran over. Let's get this thing together. I mean, all things considered, it fits up way better than I expected it to, but we really have a fitment issue here. What it is, the hood needs to come down, okay? I adjusted this fender so that it all lined up and stuff, and this one wasn't lining up over here. As you can see, there's a large gap, but there's also a large gap the whole way across the front, and then it's large gap and then tight up there. So everything that is off now that I have everything on here, and I'm glad I did this now, this fender needs to come down, which is an easy fix, to be honest with you. I just need to pop this bumper off, lift the hood up, and we just got to push down on it. These mounts are very flimsy. I'm going to loosen this one up down here, and then we're going to push it down. Then we're going to take our hood adjustment and try to bring that down as well. And then we can loosen our adjusters up underneath the hood and see. I'll just get back to you after I do some adjustments to see how I can get this to fit. So there you go, guys, and this is the start of my weekend. So I have plans to do as much of the body work and stuff on this as possible. Thing sounds great. It runs good. Yeah, I haven't got to drive it yet. That's true. I don't know. I am, as a precaution, these are not really known for it, but I'm going to get one of the combustion leak tests where you test it on the antifreeze and it will test if there's combustion gases in it. So I'm going to do that, and then but we're also going to be doing a bunch of body work. We're going to be picking up a new car. I got aftermarket parts to install on this. Body work, I already kind of straightened this out. We just got to do a little bit of putty work right here, maybe a little tappy right there where I got a mark there, but it's just pretty much out to where it needs to be. And yeah, we're looking good. I'm hyped. That looks good. So if you guys are excited, see the outcome here soon. Oh yeah, we got new glass coming too. We're gonna be doing that here. Maybe the next episode on this. Not the next episode, but the next one on this. So if you like this video, smash that like button, consider subscribing. Hit that dislike button if your mom's got a loose tailpipe. And we'll see you on the next episode of Alright. What are you doing? Yeah? Why aren't you with Mommy? What was that? Your sister must be keeping her company. We'll just say bye-bye, huh? You want to say bye-bye? No? What is this? Wow, look at the... so long. That looks comfy. What are we doing?